All right, welcome to our training tonight. So we're talking about guest blogging again, and this will be the final part of our series. I believe it'll be our fifth installment on our guest blogging series. And we've talked about what guest blogging is and why it's valuable and how it can send you traffic and help you in search engines. Talked about where to find those opportunities and how to prepare your sales pitch to a potential blog. And then tonight, we're going to talk about how to set up your content and actually write your article for your guest blog. Okay, and that's assuming we're able to work with somebody. So at this point, the assumption is you've found a good partner to do a guest blog for. They've agreed to let you do it, and now you're writing them a piece of content. Rule number one, and I'm going to put this at the top, and I think we actually talked about this last time, but I'm going to reiterate it right now. Rule number one, follow the guidelines of your partner, okay? So a lot of them will have guidelines. Make sure you follow those, right? They may have certain length requirements. They may require a certain number of pictures. They may require links to be within your content. Whatever that is, make sure you follow the guidelines. If you don't know the guidelines, please ask, okay? Now, before I go on, one question I've got a bit through this process is when you get a guest blogging opportunity and you write this really, really great piece of content that you give to your partner to post on their blog, can you take that same article that you wrote and that you own and put it on your own site? And the answer 99% of the time is no, you cannot. The blog that you're providing that content to is not interested in having duplicate content on your own blog. They want that piece for themselves. So the answer is no. I don't care how good the content is, it's now going to be posted on your partner's site, and that's where it'll stay. Don't repost it on your own. That won't bode well for you, and if they catch you doing it, they may take off your blog post that got submitted onto their site, okay? And then I sometimes get the question, well, if I create this really, really nice piece of content, why would I give that to somebody else? Why not just post that on my own site? And that's a fair argument. Your best content, you really do want on your own site. But at the same time, you want to submit really good content to your blogging partner so that you can get other opportunities in the future and that your partner is happy with it. So, your best content should remain on your own site, but you want your guest blogging content to be nearly as good. Okay, so enough about that. That's stuff we'd covered before. Just needs to be talked about again. So, in creating your content, I want to break this down into steps, okay? So we're going to go step one, and we'll take some notes on this. Step one is going to be for you to, how do I want to word this? Okay, I'll word it like this. Look at existing guest blog articles and follow the same pattern. Okay. So are you seeing that most of the guest blog posts are 1,000 words? Do they have pictures? Are they very tutorial based? Do they have a lot of linking? Right? Like, what do those look like? And follow suit, because you want yours to have a similar pattern. And if those were published on your partner's site, clearly those parameters are working and it's something that you should follow. Okay. Step two, that's something we had talked about before. So let's move on to step two. And stop me if you've got questions about any of this. Step two, and I want to really reiterate this as we talk, your guest blog post is not about you. Okay, so you're going to be inclined when you're writing guest blog material to try to promote yourself or maybe say something about your business inside of your guest blog post. Maybe maybe there's an opportunity to say something about your service. Okay, so let's say you're a massage therapist and you're doing a guest blog, right, on a partner site, and you're talking about a specific technique that you use in your massage therapy, and you desperately want to just mention that, in fact, that's something that you offer and it's unique to your business, but you don't. Okay, you don't self-promote at all in your guest blog. The content's not about you. The idea here is you want to write content that's a really good source of information and has nothing to do with your business. Now, it might be related in some way, but you don't plug yourself in your content. There's another place to plug yourself later, okay? So that's step 2. And you know what? You may have to do a little bit of research. I remember one of the first guest blog posts I ever did, and this is I did one for a financial website. And the content, I basically asked them, so just to tell you the story, this was one of my first ones I did, and I wasn't really sure what they were looking for, and so I emailed them and said, hey, I write on a big, wide variety of different financial topics. Is there something you would like us to write about? Basically saying I'm willing and able to do any financial topic. And they came back to me and they said, yeah, actually there is. For a while now, we've wanted to have an article written about the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA, and when it makes sense to do a traditional and when it makes sense to invest in a Roth, and the pros and cons, and what's more financially feasible for someone who is in college versus somebody who's well into their career, and so on and so forth. And so I said, great, acting almost as if like I knew all that stuff already. Well, I had to spend several hours researching the differences, and I read articles and I made notes, and then I came together and put this piece of content together. Now, I by that point, I sounded like an expert. I wrote as if I knew a lot about it, when in fact I had to do some research. And again, it wasn't about me. I just wrote a really good piece of content that answered that question, and they were very happy with it, and I didn't self-promote. So, be prepared maybe to do a little bit of research, and that's okay, because a lot of us have to do that. Okay, moving right along, and stop me if something doesn't make sense here. Let's go to step 3. Step 3 has to do with the format of your content, okay? So formatting. We already talked about in step 1, we want to look at existing guest post articles on the website to see kind of what they look like. But I was saying that more from a content perspective. Now I'm saying it more from a formatting perspective. What do I mean by formatting then, guys? I mean headers, like how is it broken up? Are there subheaders or subheadings within the content? Is any of the text bolded or underlined at all? How many images do they use? Do they take quotations and build in quotes into the content? Is anything italicized? If you do want to emphasize a point, can you change the text color? Like, what do you do to make it skimmable and readable and enjoyable without it being just a giant wall of text? And how do you get an idea on that formatting? Well, once again, using this site as an example, if I were to look through, this is getrichslowly.org, by the way. We've used this as an example several times just because this is a good blog. If I go through here and look at their content, I'm going to notice that a lot of their content uses like a big picture at the top. And as I go down, they have subheadings here in green. What are the rules for spousal IRA? Benefits of a spousal IRA, right? So they had a couple of subheadings there to break up the monotony. They put it into paragraphs. Nothing was indented though, right? Notice that everything is sort of blocked and aligned all the way to the left margin. Like, those are the little things you need to pay attention to, because I'm not going to go to them, write this piece of content, and then indent and have a lot of italicized text if they're not doing it, and maybe I have no headings, I don't want them to have to edit my content. I want to do it right. So pay attention to the formatting and format accordingly. No two blogs are going to have the same type of formatting. You'll want to do your best to be as close to theirs as possible. And in order to do that, you need to look through their stuff. Okay? Okay. That's step 3. Formatting. Okay? Step 4. I'm going to call this linking, internal and external. So within the text itself, what kind of linking do they do? One thing you'll notice here, and as I'm looking through their links, you can easily spot their links, right? Because they're blue and underlined. They've got these related links here that go to different things. Now, this is about a spousal IRA, and so they found it appropriate here to link on occasion other content that's already been written on IRAs. Right here, there's a link. There's another link. What is a Roth IRA? A short and simple, a short and simple guides. Doesn't make sense, but anyway, 11 things you may not know about retirement accounts. Do you know that these bloggers love internal links? Because if you clicked on these links, it would take you to articles within this guy's site, this Get Rich Slowly. And authors and owners of blogs love that, because if I gave the Get Rich Slowly blog a really well-written article that referenced previous articles that they had written where appropriate, they love that, because that shows the owner that you've been reading their blog and using their content. And any site, if there's something appropriate to link to internally, you ought to create that link. So if that makes sense. So look for opportunities to link internally within the site. I guess that's my point. And then also look for opportunities to link externally. So if there's great resources out there on the internet that you want to refer readers to, even if it doesn't have to do with the blog owner's site or your site, but it's just a good resource, feel free to create some external links. But I say that with the caveat that you need to make sure that they're cool with that, and that's something they do in their content. Okay. So links, external and internal. We good with that, guys? That makes sense so far? Okay. Step 5. We're almost done, because step 6 will be the last one. Step 5 is going to be create a call. Okay, create a call to action, or I'm sorry, a call to action at the end of the article. Specifically, a call to action to comment and interact. So you'll see this a little bit. Like, there'll be this really great article written, and you'll get to the very bottom of it, and a lot of times there's a call to action there where they're like, hey, do you have, so in the IRA example, we'd say something like, hey, do you have an IRA? And in which case, which one do you prefer and why? Say something in the comments below. Invite readers to actually interact in the comment section on the blog, which is great. Blog owners, they like comments, right? They want sort of a community feel within the blog. They want some interaction, and that offers a nice social appeal to users and readers. And so they want you to have a call to action, so invite at the very end. Okay, does that make sense? Create a call to action. And in most cases, your call to action would be that. Okay, all right, that's step 5. And finally, step 6. This is the most important step. If I had to say one was most important, this would be most important. Promote yourself. Okay, now Now you said, wait a minute, I shouldn't be promoting myself, right? Why would I can't do that in the text, and that's true. But what I'm saying about promoting yourself is do it in the bio field. So bio field at end of blog post, we'll say it that way. So you should have a little bio section where it's kind of like an about the writer or about the blogger, the guest poster, whatever it is. It'll be different on every blog. But that's your currency. That's how you're getting paid at this point. So you get to write, I would say no more than 3 or 4 sentences about who you are and what you're about. And that's where you can say, hey, my name's Trevor Shipp. I'm the owner of www.financialnut.com, where you can learn countless pieces of information to help you become independently wealthy over time. Click here to read our latest article or whatever. And we can have a couple of links in there, right? But you have to decide first, before you create that bio, you have to ask yourself, what's the goal? And let me ask you guys, some of you guys who are here live with me right now, what is the goal anyway? So why are we doing all of this? Well, what is ultimately our goal of writing these guest posts and partnering and trying to do all of this? What are we getting out of it? Because, boy, it seems like an awful lot of work, right? Yeah, I mean, it's a marketing technique, isn't it? We're trying to gain exposure in its most broad sense. Yes, this is for marketing. So marketing, we want to get traffic, we want to make sales, but narrow that focus just a little bit. Okay. So how do you want to get traffic? So, like, for example, maybe our goal with some of our guest blogging is we want more Twitter followers. How would we do that? Well, in our bio, we would say, hey, follow us at Financial Nut on Twitter, and put a link there to our Twitter account. Okay, everything doesn't necessarily need to be shot back to our site. Maybe our social media is a little weak. Maybe we don't have a ton of likes on Facebook or a ton of followers on Twitter or followers on Instagram, and maybe we're looking to build our social media. Have a call to action in your bio about social media, okay? Or, I don't know, maybe we want traffic to the homepage of our website. If you want traffic to the homepage of your website, then make sure you very prominently link your homepage. Hi, I'm Trevor. I'm the guest blogger this week on Get Rich Slowly. Read more of our work and opinions on www.financialnut.com. Maybe I want to send people back to my blog or back to my e-commerce homepage. You can be very blatant about it. Maybe you're just trying to get people to your site to sell products over Christmas. So I can say, hey, I'm Trevor. I'm the owner and operator of uptownpearl.com. If you're looking for a really unique gift for some of the women in your life, come visit us here. Buy a pearl today. I can be very direct about it, and I can link back to my site. So maybe my goal is to actually close a sale, right? Get some traffic and close a sale. Maybe your goal is none of that. Maybe your goal is just strictly SEO, right? Meaning I want the links. So, we've talked about this. If I have a link pointing back to my site, that should help the rest of my site increase its ratings or its rankings in Google. So if I'm just looking to get the link, maybe I'm not too concerned. I'm putting a link to my homepage, and maybe I'm putting a link to a secondary category page, and I just generated 2 links off of that blog post. Right? That could be the case. Ask yourself what you specifically want out of this. And if you're doing this for the first time, most of you are probably going to be focusing on these two right here, just getting direct traffic and sales and getting some SEO help. Later on, maybe you're looking to build your social media a little bit, but I would argue those are probably your goals. So have some defined goals, because that's going to sort of tailor what you put in your bio box. Okay. Okay. So to summarize, guys, I mean, we've gone through the whole entire process now. There's no reason in the world that you can't get plenty of guest posting opportunities and build links this way and network and get traffic and sales. This has been a good marketing strategy for several years, and because there's still so much need for content out there and there's so much demand for content and readers, I don't see this going anywhere anytime soon. I would love to have the vast majority of you work this into your marketing strategy. There's absolutely no reason why you can't do this. You do not have to be a great writer. And at some point, as you start building layer upon layer of marketing that you're doing for your business, I understand you will run out of hours in the day. You don't have enough time to do every single marketing thing on your own. And I would hope at some point, if you are closing sales the way we want you to, that maybe you can outsource a little bit of this guest writing and pay somebody $20, $25 for an article, so you can focus on something else, right? This doesn't have to take over your life. You can put this on autopilot, but initially we got to teach you how to do the basics first. Okay, well, good luck on your guest blogging. We probably won't talk about it for a while, so if you do have other questions, contact your coach about it. Otherwise, we'll be moving on to other marketing strategies next week. Thanks for coming along. We will see you all next time.